Hi everyone, this is JNGY. Before I start working on the next episodes of Operator Hindsights, I want to make some changes to the operator rating system. I will also share some of my insights as to why I think some revamp is necessary. So, let's start the chatter. Starting from Dragon Breath last year, there has been a continued feed of very solid operators coming our way, and ever since, the operators that we've got are, at least from general consensus, ranked above average of all the 6-star operators. That's a very clear sign that HG wants a full iteration of pre-existing operator meta by pushing out characters that are slightly more superior so that they can sell them better while the process can be relatively painless. And I'd say that they've done a pretty good job. Some may say that Versatile and Logos are way above the line, but honestly, we've had one or two of these characters in any set period of this game. They aren't necessarily detrimental to the game. But with the slowly but surely increasing character strength, we're served with contents that have been decreasing in difficulty. I can get it because you can tell that they are trying to make the game more accessible to new players, who they are investing a lot of efforts to accommodate, like making changes to the newbie systems in summer. From a game operations standpoint, I'm in no way against that because I think it's overall healthy for the game to help newcomers settle in better. However, it does bring a dilemma to game makers trying to quantify characters so that priority and recommendations can be made. With powerful tools and easy contents, players are given very free approach to clearing levels. While it provides room for creativity and strategy to play the game however you want, it does also make the advantages or disadvantages of one character over another more ambiguous. I'll explain the problem with an analogy. When you're given a calculus problem, I can tell you that okay, your best tool may be ChatGPT. It's meta, it's not AFK obviously, but it gets the job done fast. For alternatives, you can try Revamped Alpha, which may not be as fast but is reliable, so I can give a rating between them. But when you're given questions like 3 plus 3, 3 times 3, I honestly won't be able to give recommendations over ChatGPT, Revamped Alpha, a scientific calculator, your iPhone, pen and paper, or your brain because they all seemingly do it as fast and as accurate. When everyone's getting it done, it gets harder to tell them apart, and that leads to my ratings for daily. I used to rate them based on like AFK capability, the thinking required to use them, or how forgiving they are when you approach a level with zero map knowledge. But I want those criteria to be unified and presented to you more systematically, so that players with different playstyles can also relate better. I'm gonna briefly go over what I regard as daily content. It's the level of gameplay that can get you all the medals and rewards in the game. It includes all the stages in side story, mini story events, and main chapters including EX, hard stages, and their challenge modes. It also includes difficulty 10 or below in IS, risk 18 or now score 620 or below in CC, and for RA, surviving 6 days in hard mode. Now, introducing the new, revamped and explained daily rating standard. The rating now asks only one question. On a scale of 1 to 10, if this operator is to be used in daily, how's the experience using them, considering both ease of use and effectiveness? Rating of 1 to 3 will be not ideal. They may be labor intensive or have some mechanics that brings a certain degree of uncomfort. It may take a lot of attention from you just to keep them going. In terms of effectiveness, they may present limited impact to gameplay and is easily replaceable by others that can serve a similar role. Again, keep in mind that the rating is an accumulative consideration of these two factors. Rating 4 to 6 will be average, meaning that if you just want to use this operator, they would probably be at least okay. Maybe they have a passable AFK skill, relatively carefree so you can use them and sustain them all normally. For effectiveness, they may, despite being relatively complicated to use, brings good effectiveness against enemies to justify the labor involved, or has abilities that kinda serve as an answer to certain mechanics or enemies. I put countermeasures here because it's easier to brute force your way through daily content, and they are not as important and crucial as in advanced contents. Finally, rating 7 to 9 will be promising, meaning that this operator is a high contender for securing a position in your go-to 12 ops team. They either have a cutting-edge AFK skill, assuring and reliable even working with minimum budget. They can also be so effective that labor is no longer a problem of theirs, but yours. Or they are the so-called safety belts that you know will have your back when something goes south. And for 10, it's just here to mark the current ceiling of the operator meta. Usually for daily, it's really hard to rate one, but well, it's good to have an idea. Now let's talk about advanced contents. CN server has not got a new contingency contract in 7 months. Our last one is CCP Underdawn, so now we are on the same page. At the same time, the latest IS-5, despite its higher difficulties being more approachable by more casual players, it also means that it's facing the similar situation of daily. With up to 50 plus relics every run, oftentimes you find yourself massively overpowered, and most operators are able to perform under that, thus making the difference harder to tell again. Before everything, let's go over my definition of advanced contents. It's basically higher level or self-challenging gameplay that's not required for getting medals and rewards. It includes their performance and records in niche nights, low ops count, and no relic runs in IS. It also includes notably difficulty 11 or above in IS, risk 18, score 620 plus in CC. So for the new advanced rating, it's constituted by 3 aspects. 1. Specialization, the unique part of an operator's kit that stands out. Usually with theorycraft based on these properties, there can be multiple, where we can call them versatile, or there can be one that is really unique, where we call them countermeasure. But then we also have to watch out for the second criteria, application. The context is important, and it's a big part of why operator ratings change over time. Some specializations are so applicable that they are expected to be seen everywhere, while some others are limited and have to wait patiently for their time to shine, which we usually call niche. And this is where the 6-month gap between CN and global release comes in handy. The first time you read their ratings, it's based more on theory crafting, but over the 6 months after which they will be featured in a hindsight video, the final rating will take their applications into consideration. It's also affected by the content we have. Like now, since we haven't had ACC in quite a long time, the consideration will shift more towards IS, and more so in IS-5 than previous ones, with considerations for niche nights performances and a low ops run records. Last but not least, all of the above require good actual numbers to support them. Skill coverage, startup time, damage bonuses, and potentially more. They all matter to deliver the promise. So rating 1 to 3 will be not ideal, meaning that they either have a very limited specialization, where even theorycraft cannot bring many conclusions due to all sorts of limitations posed by the kit design. They may be very enemy dependent, so that the application is narrow and largely up to what HG throws at us. And sometimes there are even better solutions. It can also be due to poor stats that jeopardizes their specialization, including but not limited to slow startup, long downtime, lack of offensive or defensive stats, or mechanics that help them survive to get the job done. Rating 4 to 6 will be average. They can have 1 or 2 unique features with on-paper advantages, applications that you can find in-game and can come in handy from time to time, or numbers that are reasonable so that actual practices are possible. A lot of operators aren't perfect in all 3 aspects. Sometimes they may have a promising one, but is kept behind by drawbacks in other aspects that keep them from being higher in the ratings. Rating 7 to 9 will be promising. An operator in this division must have 1 or 2 outstanding performances out of these 3 aspects. They may have multiple functions that fill the job of multiple characters like Zarya, or they have one defining one that's crucial and irreplaceable like KOB against high defense enemies. They are expected to be good in most advanced contents, or they have some busted stats to justify using them. Again, 10 for marking the ceiling of operator meta. You just have to appreciate Indis's kit, a bundle of strong mechanics. Her 3 skills are used in the 3 recent CCs, Pyrolysis, Pinch Out, and Underdawn respectively. she's an absolute champ. Citadel is more of her advantage in multi-target, massive attack range, and high damage. As a physical damage dealer, her advantage is certainly more evident in a buff game mode like IS than a debuff game mode like CC. But still, the shadow that she looms over all the physical damage dealer is real. So that's the new optimized operator ratings explained. I hope this will make it more quantitative than before, even though rating at the end of the day is inevitably subjective to some extent. I will also stick to explaining the rating in the formula we discussed today in the coming episode, and genuinely hope that it can become more accessible for referencing and a bit less random like it felt before. Also, I hope we can all embrace the process of them changing and settling into the final score as we take our time with the 6-month gap between release in CN and Global, which is the starting point of this series. That's it for this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.